The whole concept is that we went to Iraq for after 9/11 to stop the terrorists, but secretly we possibly went there because they found this tomb. And we wanted to plunder all the stuff that had kind of like supernatural abilities. So they say there's so many ancient stories and ancient figures that, like, for the most part, whenever we're growing up, we're kind of just told that they were just stories. But then you like figure out that possibly there's some truth to some of the stuff. But yeah, I haven't read any of this. I just saw it and I was like, oh, this would be fun to kind of break apart, and probably stuff I've never heard of before. Can you see it on your end?
I can, and I pulled up the X, the thread on X.
Perfect. Yeah.
So,
It's I think it's like probably like 6 or 7 little threads. The reality of this being true is probably bullshit, but
sure.
It's accounts from like soldiers that were there and were part of the plunder and kind of telling their story of what they witnessed and what they went through. And it's all stuff that like CNN didn't show or do anything. So it's just kind of crazy that we had specific units go to these places, find these temples, do all this stuff. And it could be us like maybe making sure that we didn't destroy ancient relics and stuff throughout the war. Could be just a side project for people in charge to get rich. I don't know, man.
Or it could be fake AF, dude.
Fake AF. And also
just...
the first image right here. Did you ever see, I think it was like Apollo 13 or something? The one where they supposedly went to the backside of the moon and they found an alien. Like this, these are the vibes that it's giving.
Apollo 14?
Was it 14?
I don't remember which number it was, but I do remember that movie.
Yeah.
All right, so this is called, I'm telling you right off the bat, just from not reading anything, these pictures of this tomb is fake AF, dude.
You think so?
This looks like this looks like a department store mannequin that was taken, laid down, spray painted, and put a fake beard. I could spot a fake beard from a mile away. That's a fake beard, dude.
Also, it looks like the images on the top and the bottom are completely different beards.
Well, it looks like the top is aged, and then the bottom are young. Like it looks like a younger, like the body is not, or the corpse is not that old.
It's also like a different tiara or whatever you want to call it, circlet on his head.
So right off the bat, dude, we're off to an interesting start. What the Iraq War in 2003 was really about, the Gilgamesh Resurrection Protocol. That sounds like cool and like a comic booky. So I like that.
It sounds like a Mission Impossible, dude.
And so then on the feed, you could see the pictures that we're talking about. Yeah, it does sound like a Mission Impossible type of situation. All right. So then the first thread is, in 2003, while the world stared at CNN screens and watched statues fall in Baghdad, a different kind of operation was unfolding beneath the sands of ancient Mesopotamia. The headline
You're reading this because I would slaughter this. So thank you.
The headline screamed weapons of mass destruction, but they were wrong. The real weapons were far older, buried in ziggurats and sealed crypts beneath Uruk, Nippur, and Eridu. This wasn't a war. It was a retrieval mission because the U.S. military didn't invade Iraq for oil.
I mean, it could be both, right?
Okay. Yeah, why can't it be both? So the next thread, the tomb beneath Uruk. You're hyping me up, but I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Oh, yeah, you did it, dude.
Oh, you fruit. According to multiple suppressed reports and now buried German archaeological documentation, a massive sarcophagus was found beneath the ancient city of Uruk, the oldest city known to mankind and the legendary seat of Gilgamesh, the demigod king described as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human. Interesting, but he's dead. The tomb was encased in black stone, surrounded by inscriptions not seen since the Sumerian priesthood vanished. At its center, an 11-foot-tall mummified humanoid, perfectly preserved. The Pentagon moved in. The site was declared a national security zone. The German archaeological team that first uncovered it was sent home. 2 of its members died in strange circumstances months later. Their field notes vanished. Ooh. And then there's like I don't know if you want me to read this whole thing, but so basically it's just what that was summarizing what that article says. So there's this under Uruk, there's a tomb for the demigod king Gilgamesh. Dude, if he's 2/3 if he was 2/3 divine and 1/3 human, why did the human win out and he died? That's the weird thing. Maybe maybe I'm just ignorant.
Maybe you
Gilgamesh,
got to be pure blood to stay alive.
maybe you need to be pure divine, purely divine. Gilgamesh didn't just rule; he challenged death itself. His epic, and he lost. His epic, the oldest written story in history, is not mere poetry. It is a blueprint encoded with astrotheology, genetic alchemy, and star maps. He sought the plan of eternal life, the Abzu, the primordial waters, and even descended into the underworld. His
So
body.
he's every woman on Twitter.
He's every woman.
Who's the hippie
on
chick that
Twitter.
dances and has like all the sparkly shit around her?
I don't know.
She got like super famous online and then disappeared.
And she like rapped, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And she,
yeah.
maybe that was Gilgamesh. Maybe it came back as her.
She's 3. She's full.
All
Dude.
right. Primordial, like all like right off the bat, this like he sought the plant of eternal life, the Abzu, the primordial waters, and even descended into the underworld. Star maps, bro. Genetic alchemy. What does that mean? His body, if found intact, would be a living relic of Nephilim blood, the forbidden hybrid lineage of divine and human DNA, outlawed by God, erased by flood, but kept in whispers by occult societies for millennia. The Freemasons, the Vatican, DARPA, and high-level Jesuit technocrats have long sought the blood of the gods, not only to worship it, but to weaponize it.
This dude for sure smelled like patchouli, dude.
Oh, dude, he smelled like frankincense and myrrh.
Dude, he has a cute little cat right there.
Yeah, dude, he's just a cat boy.
He's a cat boy. All right, let's look at these photos.
Gilgamesh, the first tyrant god. In the shadows of ancient Sumer, long before the rise of empires, there ruled a king, not wholly human. Gilgamesh, 2/3 god, 1/3 man. He was not born, but forged, the first of many divine hybrids, a prototype of control wrapped in flesh. He ruled Uruk with brutal pride, not a savior, a tyrant. His power unmatched, his will unchecked. The gods, watching their creation spiral, sent Enkidu to humble him, a wild man, unspoiled by civilization, but Enkidu's death became the spark of Gilgamesh's unraveling, sending him spiraling into obsession. He would conquer death itself. His journey led him through the deserts, underworlds, and to Utnapishtim. the immortal flood survivor who held the knowledge of life before the fall. But even after glimpsing forbidden truths, Gilgamesh failed. A serpent stole his last chance. Symbolic, precise, a reminder that immortality is guarded by ancient forces. People go to so many lengths just not to believe in Jesus.
Dude, when I'm 40, I'm hitting up the Utamash dude.
Dude, you're getting the Gilgamesh, dude.
I will be death tonight.
He returned home broken, still a king, but hollow. His story was etched in stone not to inspire, but to warn. Gilgamesh wasn't a hero. He was the blueprint of god kings, bloodline rulers, and false saviors to come.
Oh.
All right, next thread. Iraq. Iraq.
Setting the scene.
Situated between the Tigris and Euphrates, this land was once called Mesopotamia, the land between rivers. Here rose the first cities, the first kings, the first written language, and the earliest legal codes. But its soil is soaked in not just history, but in blood, secrets, and stolen power. Iraq was home to Sumer, Babylon, Akkad, and Assyria. These were not mere cultures. They were portals of knowledge, astronomy, alchemy, sorcery, and divine kingship. It was in Babylon that the Tower of Babel stood, a stargate of stone meant to pierce the heavens. It was there that Nimrod rebelled against the gods, and it was here that bloodline kingship was born, rulers claiming descent from Anunnaki, the sky gods who descended to shape mankind.
All right.
Next thread. The elite
Pretty
believe that time is
sweet
cyclical. That what was once will be again. The tomb of Gilgamesh may not have simply been a burial site. It may have been a containment vault, a temporal lock put in place by ancient. So now we're in the plot of the Mummy. A temporal lock put in place by ancient priest kings to keep something from waking. Why else would a global superpower risk global condemnation to excavate one man's tomb? So they don't know the American government very well, if that's the question you ask. Because it wasn't just a body. It was a genetic ignition key to antediluvian past, before the flood, before Adam, when the world was ruled by hybrid kings and sky beings, a world now being rebuilt in shadows. Project Gilgamesh. Now we're finally into it.
Dude, when does Brendan Fraser come into the...
Dude, any minute now. He's going to be fat, but he's going to be there, dude. He's going to be eating a sandwich.
He's just crying because everyone's applauding him?
He's all, I'm fat, okay?
Dude.
Project Gilgamesh. There are confirmed reports of black site rituals conducted by, what does that mean? Conducted by military and intelligence operatives near the ancient city of Babylon between 2003 and 2005. Sigils carved into sand, blood drawn, private contractors brought in from aerospace programs. They weren't just studying the body, they were communing with it. Attempting to resurrect the mind of Gilgamesh to transfer the consciousness encoded in his preserved neural structure into machine substrates, Project Gilgamesh, the integration of Nephilim memory with artificial intelligence.
Oh, shit, dude.
If successful, it just got relevant. If successful, it wouldn't just bring back a dead king. It would open a Stargate to the... Now we're into Stargate. It would open a Stargate to the old world, one that the flood was meant to close. So why would you want to do that?
It's Indiana Jones, dude. You're messing with stuff that you don't understand.
Yeah, but it's also like, what world are you trying to shape? Like, I don't know.
It's true.
So what did they find? Perhaps the better question is, what found them? Because after they breached the tomb, Iraq became something else. A vortex of endless war, a curse zone, which, read the Bible.
Which possibly also could have been because we toppled their government and just caused anarchy.
Maybe it's Gilgamesh. Maybe it's the massive oceans of oil and poppy that they have. I guess that's more Afghanistan. Anyway, you see my point.
I see your point, dude.
Soldiers began reporting hallucinations, sleep paralysis, and visions of ancient beings made of shadow. That's called dehydration. Entire squads suffered simultaneous psychotic breaks. It wasn't PTSD. How do you know?
How do you know?
The tomb of Gilgamesh had been opened. The blood of kings had been harvested. The resurrection protocol had begun. Beneath the geopolitical chessboard lies a far older game, one played by entities who do not bleed and whose thrones are not of this earth. The elite do not seek money. They seek the keys to ancient thrones. And in deep underground facilities locked beneath 7 layers of security, Gilgamesh is probably no longer dead. He's being reconstructed. And they are waiting for the signal to crown him again. And
dang.
All right, so just off the bat, I'm going to say this would make one hell of a movie.
It really would, dude.
It would make a fantastic movie. I mean, literally, you're right. It would make, this is the Indiana Jones movie we should have got. But I don't know. Color me skeptical. I think, in this part of the world, dude, there's always been war. There's always been... Now, is that the result of Gilgamesh? I don't know. And I'm not a scholar. So I'm not when it comes to history, world history and world civilizations are not my strong point. I love American history, but that's because I live here and I have, vested interest in American history. But it's a fascinating idea. I don't know that this premise gives a lot, it gives a lot to, government, militaries, and to think if you are dealing with the Nephilim, if you're dealing with a hybrid human demon or hybrid human angel, or you're dealing with gods of another world or demons or something of that sort, I don't know, dude. I don't know that
maybe don't do it.
Well, maybe don't do it, but also who are you? Why is Gilgamesh going to come back and go, Donald Rumsfeld sent you? All right, I'm listening. Okay. You're the American CIA. Okay.
Oh, what's Hillary America? Clinton? Come on into this portal.
Yeah,
dude.
The Clinton Foundation. Okay. Let me stretch my legs a little bit, then we'll talk. I just feel I don't know, man. This is weird, and it's a great story. I don't buy it.
It's a great story. It also didn't elaborate too much on what I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to talk about actual things that maybe were found, maybe people that were involved in funding and pushing this agenda. It kind of didn't do that.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do after this, though. I'm going to go on YouTube and look up all the conspiracy theory documentaries on this because it's going to be rocking. Ooh, yeah. And that alone is worth it. But I don't know, dude. I think people, that's the thing with conspiracy theories. A lot of times, what's the it's not a theory, but a law or something like that, where it's the simplest explanation is usually the truth. And like, you can't really apply that to the US government because, but I don't know. I don't know. It feels like
the simplest reason for doing anything, for our government to do anything, is money. So possibly like,
True.
oh, there's tons of gold in there. Okay, yeah, we'll go protect this tomb for you.
Yeah, and maybe, like, I don't know. I would think that like Iran would have something to say about this, or Syria, or some of the other local governments, and because there is stuff like the Ark of the Covenant that they claim like they're starting to get close to where it is. There's like Mount Ararat or whatever in Turkey, where the Noah's Ark, like the Turkish government won't let anybody go in and excavate that area.
Okay.
And they think that that's where Noah's Ark is. I do believe that there's like a unseen world that we can't fathom. But I don't know, like when you look into things like, demons or evil forces, like I think like movies have shaped, you know what I mean? Like movies have shaped like people's opinion on that stuff. I don't think it's like a physical manifestation of things. I think it's like deception. Yeah. And I believe in the saying of like the greatest thing the devil ever did was convince people he didn't exist. They had to buck back a bit, dude.
Can we rebrand to buck back a bit?
Bang my name, dude.
Bang my name, buck back a bit.